So we're waiting for the MLS Cup playoffs to begin, and LAFC, there's the international window, and then you have the first round of playoffs, and LAFC will play a couple days after that. They're looking at, from the end of the regular season to when they play, about 2.5 weeks, maybe even more than that. So they had a open practice, so I was there and just showed you I just wanted to show you. It's amazing. This, Major League Soccer is growing by leaps and bounds, some clubs more than others, but they had an open practice and 5,000 people came out waiting in line for hours to get a photo with players. Some people wanted a photo with me. I'm here for the people. They took photos with the Falcon. They took photos with the Supporter Shield. And I was there in the stands. I was emceeing, and I saw this kid trying to rally people going, LA. So we said, why don't you come up here? We put him on a chair, and look what happened. How cool is that? So there you have it. We'll wait for the MLS Cup playoffs. LAFC does not play till October 24th at Banc of California Stadium. The path will go through them. So we'll revisit here because we talk MLS here. And certainly we'll have an MLS Cup roundabout to see what is what. Not a whole lot of soccer to talk about this weekend. It was an international window, yes. The big break occurred with regards to the European qualifiers where Poland and Russia qualified for the Euros. That's great. They joined Belgium and Italy. I think in the next couple days we'll add a few more names to that. It's great. Russia and Poland making. I don't think we expect. That's a great achievement for both those nations, especially Russia coming off qualifying for a World Cup, so they have that World Cup glow, and it continues. But I think they were supposed to in their group, and certainly Poland was in theirs. But not a whole lot to really discuss. I was interested in. I think I'm interested in seeing the field. The direction it's heading is very promising, because I think in the Euros, you want to have those nice stories, and we had them in Northern Ireland and Wales and Iceland in it last time. I think it's going to be hard-pressed for any combination of those nations to make it now, even though a month ago it appeared that they all had a good shot. But the heavyweights are coming. And when I mentioned the heavyweights, the unexpected heavyweight push, Turkey's been very good. We always wait. They are a massive country, and they are part of UEFA. They should be qualifying for all the World Cups. All these great Turkish players that play for other countries, for crying out loud. So they're first in their group. They should be able to qualify soon, and that's a great addition to the Euros. The Netherlands missed the last Euros. They'll be back, and they look loaded. Although I was very high on the Netherlands, but they played at home against Northern Ireland. We're down a goal with 10 minutes to play. Able to get it. They beat Belarus 2-1. Gigi Wijnaldum scoring 2 goals. He's great. The defense is great. The midfield's great. But I worry about the attacking end for Holland. Oh, can't call him Holland. Sorry about that. I mean the Netherlands. I mean the Dutch. Some people I've talked to you. I said, I talked to him. Can I call it Holland? Of course you can. Well, it's with Holland. But they're probably from the part of the Netherlands known as Holland, so they call it that. Daniel Malen is one development that I think we've seen. Hasn't really scored much for the Netherlands, but he has scored a lot for his club team, and he's drawing a lot of attention from now Barcelona. Remember, he wants to go to Arsenal. Arsenal sold him to PSV Eindhoven. They sold him there, and they have to buy him back. But he's scoring a torrential amount of goals, if that's a word, in the Dutch league, the Eredivisie. And maybe he's the savior, maybe not by the Euros, but the next World Cup, a young striker. They need attacking players. Memphis Depay and Wijnaldum are good, but they have to produce there. All right, I want to talk about what happened in Concacaf. We have the Concacaf Nations League, and that is a tournament that we are stuck with. It's not going to benefit USA. It's not going to benefit Mexico. Mexico played Bermuda. The United States played Cuba. And both those countries have to play those nations again in November. So, the gap between Europe, it's just the way it is. This is the route that football is taking us, and the CONCACAF Nations League is here. But the United States played Cuba, beat them 7-0, got absolutely nothing out of that situation in Washington, D.C. They have to play them again next month in the Cayman Islands, and that's going to even be less defining. But the USA scored 13 seconds in. and they would end up scoring 7. Probably could have scored a lot more. They certainly put off. And again, there's nothing positive they got out of that experience. There's nothing positive. The only thing I feel out of that, Mexico crushed Bermuda, but Bermuda, all right, just a depressing state of everything Cuban. And I can say that because I'm Cuban. And I have seen it. And I supported the embargo, and I stood by. And when Cuba did well in athletics, even though it was Fidel Castro's Cuba, I was happy for them. I was happy to see Cuban athletes do well. But athletics is the last bastion of what Cuba does well. Everything else is kind of just eroded. They used to make great cigars. Now 20 countries make better cigars. They used to make the best rum. Now everyone else makes better rum everywhere. Even Haiti, who is poverty-stricken, makes better rum than Cuba. They had great literature, great arts, great music. I don't know what's happening there now. You're not really allowed to. There was innovation at a time. It was a big island. Not anymore. Sports has gone down the tubes. It was the last real bastion. In the 92 Olympics in Barcelona, Cuba finished 5th in the medal count, but that's all gone away. And that's fine. The sports were like the apparatus of the communist Cuba there, and it was helped supported by the Soviet Union. And that's obviously a long time gone, and sports is taken away. So I just watched the USA-Cuba game, and I couldn't really get excited about it, and I couldn't really look into the positives that USA were getting. I just said, what a sorry state of affair Cuba is. And I hope people notice that. And I think people did on Twitter. And they went, what happened to Cuba? And I go, you got to look closely. Because this is the result of what happens in a country where everything's taken away. And there is no reason to succeed. And there are no resources. And that wasn't even a national team for Cuba. Because most of the guys are defecting. They continue in Canada. It's barely a national team. I'm going to stop talking about that. Let's talk about a good story. A good story, so to speak. A developing story. A story that is long overdue, no doubt about that. But I'll tell you why it's important. So for the first time in 40 years, women who were banned from entering football or any other sports stadium in Iran were allowed in. FIFA stepping in, threatening to suspend Iran, who are doing very well in their footballing ventures. They made the last World Cup, played very well. They're producing good players who are playing in Europe. It's a good Asian powerhouse, I guess you could say here. And I think Asia's looking really good. Japan's so much improved. Korea's going through a nice cycle. So Asian football's good. They want to keep up with that. So there you go. In a qualifier against Cambodia, women were allowed in for the first time in 40 years. Women speaking out. These are some of the quotes that were taken out in the news. Zara Pashai, who is a nurse, said it's an extraordinary feeling. Another woman saying it was a dream come true. And they were there. The visuals were good, and they were enjoying it. I think there were 4,000 at the Azadi Stadium, which is a big stadium, but it wasn't completely full. They're playing Cambodia. So it wasn't going to be that kind of game. It wasn't a big World Cup qualifier. You women there, the reason they're not allowed to go to these events, allegedly, is they're shedded from masculine atmosphere. This all began, he said, the 40 years, because it began in the 1979 Islamic Revolution, where women were shunned in such a way. And it's absolutely horrible. And you look at this story even closer and see how we got to this point. It really is remarkable. You have FIFA intervention. And then the story of the blue girl, which you should read online. It is a young lady who wasn't allowed to go to the game, and she set herself alight on fire. We're so removed from places of the world like this, we can't even imagine what goes on. But this is actually what goes on, and this is the importance of it. Should women have been there 40 years ago? Yes. Should they have been there the whole time? Absolutely. And am I going to sit here and look retroactively and be angry why they're not allowed? I think it would be counterproductive at this point. So I'm not here to criticize. I would like to, but I'm not here to do that. The treatment of women, 1,000%, 1,000,000% is unacceptable in that part of the world. But I look at this as a step in the right direction. And to see those images tells me that game is going to go further in creating a breakthrough. Now, the Iranian government said that this is a World Cup qualifier. They may not look at other games the same way, and women won't be allowed. But as long as FIFA pushes, and I think the rest of the world pushes, and Iran sees that it's not that big of a deal. And Iran beat Cambodia 14-0, so there's another angle for you. So I was really happy to see that. So I'm not here to criticize. I'm just glad this is a big step. This is progress, something to build on, because it was something we didn't have there prior, and now we have it. All right, I'm going to finish up on the best sports story of the weekend. Eliud Kipchoge, Kenyan runner. I stayed up very late to watch this on YouTube, and it was amazing. Marathon runner, the best marathon runner in the world, who has touched a record of 2 hours and 1 minute in the marathon. And when you're at 2 hours and 1 minute, you know at some point someone's going to say, I got to break 2 hours. Just like runners were close to breaking the 4-minute mile, and Sir Roger Bannister back in 1954 finally did it. You were close, so they did it. And Kipchoge did it, and he did it in such ease, you would imagine he's going to try and get below 159 and maybe below 158 in the years to come. He had it was raced in Vienna. He had a team of 41 pacemakers, the best in the world, to get him over the line. And they did it. 17-second average every 100 meters. You had a mile at 4:35, around there. And you think of Roger Bannister trying to break the 4-minute mile. This guy going 4:35 for 26 miles is remarkable. But it was a collaborative affair, and that was very cool. It wasn't a proper marathon, so it's not apples to apples. Running that distance 2 hours is unbelievable. And I just wanted to share it with you because it just reminded me of the incredible things humans can do and the incredible things the human body can do. Whether you're Kipchoge or whether you're Joe Blow at home in Topeka, Kansas, watching full time with Max Bredos, please subscribe. We can do incredible things. We just got to push ourselves. Got to push, all of us. Our bodies are ready. They're saying, our bodies are going, I could do anything. Where do you want to go? So go for that hike, push it, do whatever, push yourself physically, and you will always be pleasantly surprised. Okay? Because if Kipchoge can do that, we'll just do little steps. I was inspired. I went for a hike this weekend. I ran on the beach, which was a bad idea because I'm old and it hurt my feet. But still, we can do it. Full-time Maximum Soccer. We'll continue to be here. We'll look at the next qualifiers. It's going to be big. Placido Domingo.